So across the evening, we heard a call across many missions, across many ways that scientists, technologists, we're bringing technologies from the lab to the field, and tonight also to the stage. We've gone from critical minerals to autonomy, communications, microelectronics, a brief trip to space, and manufacturing. And all of these things are critical as we move forward. To put it all in context, I'd love to welcome my colleague, Dan Madden. Oh, full clap. Yes, let's get a full clap for Dan on the way up here. Dan Madden, who's our principal for national security at Squadra Ventures, who's had a lot of perspective on this and who has had an opportunity to see this at all angles.
Excellent. Thank you. Really big picture of me. Okay. All right, I'm going to tell you a big story, a little story, and a little bit about funding and founding, and I'm going to do it all in just a couple of minutes so you guys can get out of here. Big story. So the U.S. has been a science and technology superpower since after World War II, Vannevar Bush, and the founding of the National Science Foundation. Since that time, we've gone down from the U.S. government, not the United States, but the U.S. government providing about 50% of the funding for research and development globally, down to around 5%. And a lot of that's great, right? Like a lot of that funding is now being provided by our friends and allies, by the private sector. The challenge that today, it's no longer just our friends, allies, and other capitalist democracies that we're competing with. It's also an authoritarian variant of capitalism. And so it's not just good enough anymore just to be a part of developing great foundational technologies. Today, it actually really genuinely matters for our society, for our lived experiences. Who owns the platforms that our economies are based on? Now, like a smaller version of the story. So my background, when I started off my professional life, I was in the Marine Corps. I remember when I got into the Marine Corps, they handed me a GPS receiver. And that thing was about the size of a textbook, right? And it didn't work particularly well. Worked about 10% as well as the thing that I could go and buy at Walmart. And so that was like kind of like a snapshot for me of what my experience with technology in the military was going to be like. Then I went over started working down the street as a congressional staffer. And this is during the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. I start talking to veterans, constituents that are coming back from these conflicts, amputees. And then I go over to a think tank where I start talking with small unit leaders that are coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. And I start asking them about the capabilities and the technologies that they're using. And I'm like, you guys are getting a lot of value out of these drones that we're sending downrange, right? Absolutely not. Don't even take them with us. Well, why not? And they're unusable, like they don't work particularly well, they're too expensive, so we have to go and play like dodge the ID, looking for them if they crash, which is not what you want to be doing in Kandahar. And then I go work in the Pentagon. The Pentagon's also referred to as the five-sided squirrel cage, so no, I do not find answers in the Pentagon. So anyway, like it turns out like nobody's coming to save us, right? And so this is kind of getting to the punchline. You have to take agency in your own lives. This is actually what I love about venture, finding a problem that I've got conviction in, a team that I've got conviction in, and putting like capital, network, and our time behind them to help them be successful in crushing the problem. Talking with actually some of the founders that have been presenting tonight, it is a massive leap to step out of the lab and into the market. You're not alone. There are the other people in this room. You have a peer group of founders, and there's some other people in the ecosystem that are happy to help you as part of your journey. So anyway, thank you all so much for coming tonight. Really deeply appreciate it. Margaret, I think you wanted to take the mic.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, Dan.